Hello, everybody. My name is Xia, and my assignment for topic is assignment. Sorry, it's Democracy Now. The Democracy Now is an hour-long American TV, radio, and internet news program hosted by the journalist Amy Goodman and Kwan. The program combines the news reporting, interviews, investigative journalism, political commentary. It documents the social movement struggle for justice, on activism challenging the corporate system, and operate as a watchdog outfit. Democracy Now! Views as an aim to give the activists and the citizenry a platform to debate people from the establishment. They purposefully being progressive voice onto the show to give them a platform and a report on events in the country and around the globe that major outlets do not give much attention to. As an independent news program, Democracy Now! Is audience supported, which means that their editorial independence is never compromised by the corporate or government interests. Since their founding in 1996, Democracy Now! Has held steadfast to their policy for not accepting the government funding, corporate sponsorship, underwriting, or advertising revenue. The reason for not accepting such funding is not because of the desire to adhere to a certain guideline or feel under pressure to perform a certain way, as some might assume that instead the founder and the co-host of the show. The Amy Goodman claimed that the view of the majority of Americans had been silenced by the corporate media, and thus to make an alternative progressive guest to feel comfortable and welcomed on their platform, and make the audience feel viewed this way. A corporate found news outlet might be stifled by the need of adhere to the value and goals of their sponsors instead of seeking out the fair report. The Democracy Now! Is almost completely funded by the contribution from fans. It is under a lot of charity websites. The Charity Navigator creates a score for organization based on their accountability and transparency. And on a scale from 0 to 4, Democracy Now! Has a 3 here. Okay, this score comes from 100 reading on their finance based on the fact that all money comes from the grant, meaning they meet a certain quality stand, and from the individual contribution, and no single person, organization, or companies can hold anyways in what they report. However, they only have 75 on transparency, so the news outlet doesn't have any information on their audited finance or any sort of a board in charge of decision making. So still, their total score is above average, making them seem more trustworthy in journalism ethic. According to the Charity Navigator, the Democracy Now! Made 11,418,315 in 2017. For this year, actually $0 was given from the grant, mostly because the Democracy Now! Had made a recent switch from NPR to being almost entirely independent and online. They spend 82.4% of this money on their program, 8.3% on their administration, and 9.3% on fundraising campaign. This is a large percent spent on just the show itself, and explain why the news outlet was able to go independent. Democracy Now! Was perhaps the best known for their radio show, launched live each weekday at 8 a.m. The radio show is broadcast through the college campus in a news station and the independently affiliated radio station, and was for many years available through the NPR. With the growth of internet radio and broadcast, the radio show was now often streamed through such platform. The Democracy Now! Also has a website that publishes the news article daily, and now has a daily televised news hour available through their website. All of this being completely free to the public. Being an unfinished leftist news outlet, it would be easy to assume that a certain demographic fits their audience. Young, progressive, socially aware and justice-oriented. There also might be some misconception that many assume that the leftists are disproportionately white, affluent, and college educated. There certainly might be something truth about this, but include most of viewers' financial situation, since the Democratic now has been able to operate mostly independent due to the individual contribution from the supporters. Democracy now makes it a priority to bring unique ideas and concepts into their broadcasting. They claim that you will hear a diverse of voice speaking for themselves, providing a unique and sometimes provocative perspective on global events. In terms of the circulation of social media, it's obvious that democracy now is very present on popular social media platform and gets much of the viewership and the advertising done this way. As today, they have 757.6 thousand followers on Twitter and are followed by 1,294,286 people on Facebook. On Twitter, they post articles and share streams with short, comprehensible caption, almost like a headline that can be viewed when visiting their website. On Facebook, the captions are much more longer and generally are full of a half paragraph taken from the articles itself and give a better idea to what information links to provide, which we choose here that has been included in this essay. It have over 2,000 reactions and 800 shares on Facebook, and the videos from the articles was posted on Twitter and looked up to 11.7 thousand viewers. And let's mention some of their competitors for such as the Young Turks. Okay, both Democracy Now! And the Young Turks, they share the base of readers and the viewers, and oftentimes this news source shares the reporters and the guests. Okay, so in conclusion, the Democracy Now! Is able to uphold the journalist standard relative to the providing a platform for undeserved voice and segments of the disillusioned society, and is able to maintain such standards by relying on the financial support of their viewers rather than corporate donations or government funding. They bring a particular independence to the journalism, which has gained support over the past couple decades, but is still lagging behind in terms of media power compared to the giants such as MSNBC, Fox News, and CNN. Because of their higher standard and commitment to give diverse people a chance to share their side of the story, they may soon be a serious competitor. So as they deserve to have such recognition. Okay, thank you. I think that's all.